But now we're going to find out what BDD wants. I think with this draft, like, this is a very HLE draft, to be honest. Like, it all lines up. You got the Nautilus Misfortune set up with the Jarvan, the Aurora Burst, and the Gnar to come through for the winning matchup. And the response will be a victor here for Scout. And this game is... They trusted Fenrir a little bit in game 1 to be like, all right, let's give him the Lucian pick and let's see what happens. They found out.
Once and land that root, and now we got a dredge line to come on in. Trying to aggressively trade, I would expect for Cuz to come down. That barrier doesn't get a whole lot of value, as now we flash on in, and they're gonna get the flash and barrier out of Diable already. And guess who's bot lane?
Here comes Cuz.
There's the hook. It's very close to the turret, and it's onto Lehens, the guy who still has flash. So unfortunately, not really what you were looking for. Also, Cuz is still level 2.
Uh-oh.
And now Sponge is here. No, you can't do that, Grom. Gonna get flashed on and killed. Sponge picks up first blood, and Fenrir also has to flash away. Desperately wants that kill, but now they're overstaying. Effort's gonna be, okay, that was a interesting slurkle. Fenrir tries to go back in for the kill.
CK, or he is just flipping a coin. And guess what? It landed on Sponge. He was there. He's going in again.
Yeah, Scout does not have his flash, but unfortunately with a nice stun that does come in.
I don't know if this game right now is looking like it's going to be about him. Like, the Misfortune situation in the bottom lane is, BDD is also not enjoying his life right now. As there is maybe a late contest from Cuz. Oh no, perfect.
He's getting pressured a little bit. Here we go. Effort's going to go in. That's a very nice hook on a Lehens. Good setup here from Effort. As now Sponge in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down. 2 kills to KT just like that. As Notion maybe just thinking they'd get the Drake for free.
But if they don't like the next one, they could just be like, let's scale. Get Gnar victor. Effort is right here.
Yeah, they're baiting Scout into this one big time. As the depth charge comes in, straight into Fenrir, who's like, oh, hello. I might just enjoy myself a nice little snack of a kill. As Fenrir going to pick that one up, and Noshim not really showing a lot of respect. Definitely going very aggressive, and KT called them on their bluff.
Ooh,
oh, that's a really nice hook on a Diable. Going to find him right through the minion wave. And now the flash on in, one more auto. Fenrir sees blood in the water. TP yet either. Scout's going to TP in the mid. So now the hook's going to come down once again. They find Diable as the wild growth comes in, but he just dies anyway. He gets hit by everything, doesn't flash. And Fenrir pretty low. But yeah, that's another big pick as Cuz also going to go in. BDD is on the chase.
He has his ult. I mean, this is really tough to defend. Dragon, and if they fail it, not only will they give over some gold, but they'll waste a lot of time, and then Diable will come back. I like this call. Speaking of time, I mean, TP is in for King, and I mentioned if he wants to contest, he can, and he will.
Yeah, it looks like they've done enough damage to KT just to zone them away from the Dragon of Nautilus. If you don't fall behind, you have kill threat, and you hit some hooks.
Kingen is that kill they're looking for now.
Yeah, depth charge in 5, so kind of waiting for that. Effort's gonna tank up the turret for now, and now he's just gonna hook away.
Protoplasm harness. I usually don't say the full names, but in this case, like, since you said it that way, I feel obliged. Yeah. Sponge is in Zao, so maybe forced to ult here.
He's just gonna flash away, but I think Lehens won't be quite as lucky as the Wild Growth himself. But he doesn't have his flash, so he's just gonna die. Cuz picks that one up. Nice TP behind. Spawn.
Tanking King in here. I don't know if it'll mean anything, but
I think it's a little too late. And yeah, can just ult Diable as well. They're just gonna throw everything into Lehens. Might as well. No Wild Growth usage from him. As Perfect's getting pretty low though, as everybody's kind of in the AoE of the Renekton and the Victor. As in goes Cuz looking for the kill on a Sponge. At least we'll be able to help trade one out. Perfect on the run here. Diable as well on the chase. As the slow comes through. as he's got a barrier, but the Slurkle is just a little bit too good, I think, as they're going to throw everything into him and eventually take him down. Meanwhile, down on the bottom side of the map, Perfect thought he was safe, and he was not. BDD might be able to punish at least.
He doesn't have ult, but I think he has the damage. Okay, this is starting to get a little silly.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
KT spend everything to kill Lulu, and then there's no CC for Diable. That's where you have the problems, especially if there's a flanking Renekton. Diable also might just die.
Okay, just going to run straight into the Nautilus. He does dash away. So baited, I suppose, but in goes BDD, and eventually does take him out, but that's a trade of 80 carries, which isn't that bad for Gnome, especially with this big Renekton. Cuz has to back away. BDD still cutting it out. Doesn't really have the mana either. That Gnar, kind of pitiful at this point. Doesn't really do a whole lot to save him. And that should be the end of Perfect as well on the backside of this fight. So Gnome actually trading up.
I think that KT, a lot of the fights, the scrappy fights they've been taking recently, they're playing as if they need to force their way back into the game, but actually they were in a pretty good spot as the Victor's going to get caught here.
Right, you're going to throw everything in a scout, but he's just got way too much damage, kind of baiting KT into a wonky fight.
I mean, it's really easy to win the game, and they earned it back.
Yeah. As we're going back in on an effort this time, the Nautilus with the Aftershock going to help out a little bit in tanking. But eventually, no, they're just going to let him go. Sponge says, I don't quite have the damage to chase.
Still a huge win right before Dragon here for Nongshim, as Perfect is now on the wrong side of this fight and may just have to sacrifice himself. Maybe he can do the long wraparound here and buy some time for his teammates, but there's no Nautilus ult.
All right, well...
It's working. They're chasing him.
Yeah, I feel like they could have kept Perfect at bay and maybe started up, but maybe they didn't want to get flanked by Mega Gnar. Essentially blow up one target without losing too much. As just going to ult the wave here, it looks like. Sponge trying to just get straight under the turret and nearly died to it, as that last shot nearly takes him out. And now the depth charge in on a Diable who's just left by his lonesome is eventually going to go down. Of course, Perfect does have to flash for it, but very wonky trade. Maybe KT can make something of this, but it's so hard to kill Kingen. Like, they just don't quite have the damage, but I guess when you dive into 4 people, they do. As eventually he does go down.
Okay, well, Kingen's also on this flank angle. Combo set up for effort, right? He just needs to pick the right target, and the follow-up needs to be crisp. BD's looking for maybe to go over the wall here.
Yeah.
And they've done so much damage to Kingen.
And Cuz can go in now as Sponge getting super low, and there's the steal. Cuz gets in. They take out the Xin Zhao, and the MF ult is very nice as well, but it is going to get interrupted by the Victor. They take down the Renekton. As Diable basically on 1 health just has to run away. Flashed on by effort, taken out, and might just be the clean ace for KT as they take them down on the Baron. I don't know, it just felt a little bit rushed and unnecessary. The call was not one. Now in hindsight, we know that was a good call, at least, as they're going to go in on an effort, as there is the bullet time. Tons of damage in a scout. They take out the Lulu, as Cuz might be going down here, though, to the Storm, but they get the flank in onto Diable, and it looks like we will be going to a game number 6 here once again, Wolf. I mean, KT have done it.
They have back-to-back Sixers. You called it out early on today. Thought maybe it was going to be the case. We didn't even know about the substitution at that point, as the last kill will go to Fenrir. 8 to his name, the most on the side of KT Rolster and in the game.